Hi, Van Walworth here for Soft Pull Leashes. This is the Mighty Soft Pull Leash, and it's a 5-foot leash. It has some features on it that you don't find on the leashes that are available on the market today. One thing, for instance, is we have a nice padded handle for a wrist loop, but in addition to that, we have a hand grip. And the hand grip is not statically mounted. It is able to be adjusted. This provides two different things. One, for people with large hands, we can get our hand in there and cinch it back up so we can grip it, but also for a small hand and small wrist, you're able to comfortably hold the wrist strap and the leash with the hand grip. Why a hand grip? Well, it's very interesting because when you actually are just simply holding on to a leash, or when you're trying to hold on to a ski rope type handle leash, all of the gripping motion that holds the leash is dependent upon your hand strength. But when you actually run your hand through a wrist loop, you now actually have the ability to have the dog lunging or pulling against you without your grip being the only thing holding the dog. In addition, when you have a hand grip, now the force that you can grip the wrist loop and the linear pull in line of the dog pulling on the leash is in line with your hand, and you don't need near as much strength to be able to hold the dog and control the dog with an inline hand grip as you do when you're just holding a grip like this and the dog is beginning to pull upon you. You'll notice also that we have an elastic area that is in here. It's covered by a cover to protect it, keep it from being snagged on things. There are two of them on the leash, one at the human end and one at the dog end for the leash. They both give an elastic stretch. Let me show you what's inside of one of them. I've taken this small piece as a sample and allowed the cover to be removed back. Inside, we actually have an elastic tube that is anchored on both ends in a secure way, and that's what's doing the stretching. The important thing about this compared to, say, a bungee cord type of product is that even if for some reason the tube fails, dog bites it, some fatigue, something happens to it, and if it were to fail, then you still have a strap, and the strap is just as strong as it would have been if you didn't have this in it. And so we have the ability that should it fail, you don't lose your dog. You're not separated from your animal with it. It's still a strap when it gets there. Now, what the resilient part does is it takes the shock and the force of a jolt of a lunging animal out from your hand, your wrist, your arm, your shoulder. There are numerous injuries every year of people that are casually holding onto their animal, and it's usually from dogs not that you don't know about, not that you're unfamiliar with, not that are aggressive to start with, because then you're tensed up and you're kind of watching the dog. But if it's your own dog, one that you're familiar with, and you're just standing there and you're holding the leash and the dog is beside you and you're maybe just watching whatever might go on, all of a sudden the dog bolts and sees a squirrel and you're not even ready for it, and suddenly off your arm goes because that dog hit full leash. On a normal leash that just simply goes strap taut, your arm is forced to be the thing that takes all of the motion, all of the force, all of the impact of what that dog has just done. And the larger the dog, the more increase of injury that there is to people's shoulders and arms and wrists. What the Soft Pull Mighty Leash does is it has a resilient section in it, and it's able to damper and muffle and absorb some of the shock and impact of what happens before the leash goes completely taut. And that saves all kinds of injury and damage to your own wrist, to your arm, to your shoulder. One of the things that we do with our product is we test it. Here I have one of the products, the assemblies with the elastic member assembled onto this test device. And in a moment I'll start it up. We have actually tested these to 1 million cycles, 1 million times of stretching and coming back. Let me tell you what the equivalent of that is. The average life of a dog is around 10 years. Some dogs live longer, some dogs not as much. But if you walked your dog every day, 365 days a year, and you did that for every day of the dog's life for 10 years, that would be 3,650 times that you walked the dog. And if somehow the dog never learned not to do this, but pulled on that leash 25 times every single day, stretching it all the way out, every day for 10 years, its whole life, then that leash would have stretched 86,000 something times over its lifetime. So when we've actually gone 1,000,000 cycles on this product without it breaking, without it fatiguing, without it coming apart, we're actually taking that to a ×10 factor for the durability of this product. Let me hook it up and I'll show you what I mean. This particular leash has almost been tested for 400,000 cycles. And it's still doing just fine. We have some that have gone over 1,000,000 cycles. We don't test every one, but we get a good idea of exactly how durable they are. And then we cover them up so that they're not easily snagged, bitten by the dog, exposed to any kind of the elements that might be coming along. Great test, shows how strong the product is, gives you the confidence that when you buy this product and use it with your animal, that it's likely to last as long as your animal does. Maybe longer. Hopefully you can enjoy a long time with your pet.